guys, what's up? Today I am bringing you guys my March book haul and wrap up. Fun fact, the first ever monthly book haul I ever posted was in March of 2014, so happy 1 year of book hauls from my channel. I have read 9 books this past March, as well as I have bought/received 15 books. I know that's a lot, but I'm going to explain it later. I can't remember the last time I acquired this many books in a month. It was probably sometime last year during the summer because I was really doing okay with my book buying and I don't know what happened this month. But I'm going to show you, considering this is going to be a long one, we're just going to go right into it and we're going to start off with the book haul. Alright, so this first book I actually got in February. I believe I just forgot to talk about it. If I did, just ignore this. Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. I have only ever read Fangirl, but I am planning on reading all of her collection because I really enjoyed Fangirl. Attachments is about a guy who goes through his office's emails, just making sure that nothing is going wrong and they're not misusing the email for anything. And he ends up reading conversations between 2 girls, and he ends up falling for one of them, but what is he supposed to say? Like, hi, I read your emails and I love you? Yeah, I hear nothing but good things about Rainbow Rowell, so I'm definitely excited to start reading this one. The next book I have is Lethal Response by Ernest Barrett. This is from a publishing company in the UK called Austen Macaulay. You may have heard of them. They just sent me an email like, hey, we really enjoy your channel. Check out our catalog. If you like anything, we'll send you a book. And so Lethal Response seemed really interesting to me. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but my complete life dream is to join the FBI. I would love to be a part of the behavioral analysis unit, which is basically using human behavior to kind of work with criminals and catch them. Lethal Response is kind of similar in the way. It's a crime/mystery novel. I believe the name of the TV show is Blacklist. If you've ever seen Blacklist, it's kind of similar to this. Basically, in this city, there is a murder case going around where the police can't seem to connect the victims in any way, so they rely on an ex-convict to help them. I think I've seen like 1 episode of Blacklist, and I never got around to finishing it, but I really enjoyed it. So this is basically it in book form, and it sounds really cool. I will definitely be starting this soon, but I cannot wait to start it. Next up, I have the first 3 books in the Lux series, Obsidian, Onyx, and Opal, all by Jennifer L. Armentrout. As you can see, these covers suck, but they suck less than the bind-ups, so I had to get them because I really want to read this series and I knew I was going to love it, so I didn't want it in ebook form, so I had to settle for these. I recently found out that they had 1, 2, and 4 on barnesandnoble.com for order, and Opal was on Book Depository, so I just have to order Origin and then I'll have the first 4, and then unfortunately I have to buy, Opposition I think is the last one, in that disgusting cover format, which I'm not happy about, but I'm okay with 4 of them matching and that 1 terrible one not, because I'm not doing those bind-ups. No way. I have just heard so many good things about the Lux series. I hear like it's basically Twilight with aliens, and I love Twilight and I love aliens, so I already know that I'm gonna love the Lux series. I don't know why it's taking me so long to actually start this series, but someday soon I finally will. Next up, I bought Unleashed by Sophie Jordan. This is the sequel to a book called The Uninvited. I read both of these books this month, so I will be talking more about them later, so we're just gonna skip over this one for now. Then I have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I wish I could tell you something about this book, but just don't know anything. I think it's something like a servant or a thief or like a lower part of society has something that like the king wants, and so like he pretends that she's royalty and she's accepted into the palace and stuff. It sounds really cool. I've heard so much about it on BookTube. It's one of those books that it's like, how can you be a booktuber and not have this book by now? The cover is really pretty. That's something I can confirm without knowing anything about the actual plot. But yeah, it seems like a really cool premise, and I definitely think it's something that I'm going to enjoy. Okay, now we're going to get to 5 books that I have received this month that I didn't actually buy. So I didn't spend money on these, so I'm sure somebody out there is going to be proud of me. This month I went and visited Michael Booklion at the HarperCollins office in New York City because he has an internship there. Originally we went because we were going to see an advanced screening of Insurgent, which was awesome in itself, and then the second I get to the office after trying to find it for 2 hours, which is a whole nother story I'm not gonna go into, he's just like, here Emma, take this stack of books and arcs, and I'm like, okay. And I really wasn't expecting much, but reading the backs of these books makes me really interested in reading them, so I just want to share them with you guys and let you know some cool new books that are coming out that I'm really excited to read. The first book is Emmy and Oliver by Robin Benway. This is a book about two best friends, Emmy and Oliver obviously. Emmy is kind of the stereotypical angsty teenager. She wants to do all these things that her parents won't let her because her best friend Oliver disappeared 10 years ago. Apparently Oliver has found out a super dark secret about his father, which kind of caused this whole disappearance 10 years ago, and he eventually returns to his hometown. So this book is basically all about Emmy and Oliver finding themselves again and seeing if they're still like the other piece to each other's puzzle in life. Sounds really cool, unlike anything I've read before, and I'm super excited to read it. Then we have Those Girls by Lauren Saft. Look at this cover. I'm jealous that I didn't take this photo. Basically, I can't really wrap my head around a plot for this book yet. I believe it's just we follow these stories of these three girls going through high school, which is something that everyone can relate to because each of their stories is very different. It's all about these secrets that they've been keeping from each other, and I'm really excited to see how they unfold. You know, while I love novels, sometimes I really enjoy not being able to pinpoint an exact synopsis before going into a book. I think it's just better to let my mind flow, and it's definitely something new and refreshing every once in a while. So I think I'm going to enjoy this book. Then we have Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. This is a book about a girl suffering from schizophrenia. As someone who has suffered from schizophreniform in the past, which is kind of like a milder form of schizophrenia, and somebody who is really, really passionate about the future of mental illness, I know that I'm going to love this book. Just a direct quote from the back. Made You Up tells the story of Alex, a high school senior unable to tell the difference between real life and delusion. That was my life my sophomore year of high school, so I really think I'm going to be able to connect to this book on a really deep and personal level, which is something I really, really value in books. So once I read it, I am most definitely going to let you guys know what I think. And again, this cover, it's watercolor and gorgeous. Oh, so pretty. Then we have Paperweight by Meg Haston. I bought so many pretty books this month. Another book having to do with mental illness. This has to do with an eating disorder. As somebody who has suffered from 3 different forms of eating disorders, I'm super, super excited to read this book. I remember my candidate's friend who was like, it's about eating disorders, is that okay? I'm like, no, that's like more than okay. I really enjoy reading books about eating disorders, even mental illness in general. So if you have a really good novel that you've read that you really enjoyed concerning that topic, please leave me a recommendation below because I don't have enough of them on my shelf. I really, really enjoy them and I need to read more of them. I just don't know of a lot of them. So I would love for you guys to give me more recommendations, but without even reading this, I know I'm gonna love it, so I'm recommending it to you now, okay? So when does it come out? It comes out July 15th. I probably should have told you all of these dates for the arcs that I have, but oh well. Alright, and then finally for my little HarperCollins book haul, we have Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry. I hear that this book is going to be super big, and I've seen pictures of it on the internet, so I'm anticipating like a really big hype around this book. This follows a 16-year-old boy named Simon. For lack of a better word, Simon is, as we say, in the closet. Simon has been emailing back and forth with this guy on the internet that he really likes. So a kid named Martin finds out about A, Simon's sexuality, and B, Simon's little pen pal, and blackmails him into helping him. Basically, he wants Simon to be his wingman, and if Simon doesn't do what he says, Martin's going to tell everyone both of these things. I feel like this is something that a lot of people are going to be able to connect to, and I think it's going to be a big hit just from the synopsis. So if any of you guys have heard anything about this book, let me know, because I wasn't aware of it until actually going to the HarperCollins office, but now that I know about it, like I see it everywhere. Alright, and to wrap up this extremely long book haul, I have the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I have waited so long for these paperback box set. Oh my god. Look at them. They're so pretty. I can't get over it. I hear nothing but read this book, read this book, read this book from everyone, and so you know what? I'ma finally read it. I have pretty paperbacks and they're gonna motivate me to read them, and another book I think I'm gonna really like. Look at it, it's so beautiful and white and blue and sketchy, and it's just lovely. Okay, so we're finally done with that book haul. Let's get on to the wrap up, which hopefully will not take as long. Alright, so the first book I read this month, or I might say reread for the 7th time, City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Yep, can't get enough of this book. I did not just read this for my own personal entertainment, although that was a huge part of why I wanted to reread it. I am a part of a read-along group called the Mortal Read-Along. We are reading the Mortal Instruments series over a 6-month period, so it's 1 book per month. And we started in March to kick off the read-along with the first book in the series, City of Bones. I don't even have to tell you how much I love this book because I just don't shut up about it on my channel. But for those of you, even if you haven't participated in the read-along, but for any of you who want to start, the link to the Goodreads group will be in the description, where we will be discussing this book all month long. We also have a live show coming up. It is going to be this Saturday. Hopefully I upload this video before this Saturday. If not, it was April 4th. But it's going to be April 4th at 9 p.m. EST on the BookTube Girls channel. And I'll be joined by a bunch of awesome people. Momo from the BookTube Girl, Chloe from Blondie's Books, Selena from OXXNap13, Sierra from Sierra Reads, and Caitlin from XOX Caitlin Nicole, and myself. We will all be discussing City of Bones and all of our feelings about it, and you guys can participate too. So don't forget to check out that live show, and if this is uploaded on April 5th, I apologize for rambling about this for 10 minutes even though it already happened. Alright, the next books that I read this month were The Uninvited and Unleashed by Sophie Jordan. The premise of this book really got to me, and it made me really want to read these books. Basically, it's kind of like a dystopian, but it's more like futuristic. It doesn't have that Hunger Games, Darkest Minds, Divergent feel where it's like super into the future and so much has gone on. No, this is basically like 20 years into the future where we just make a different scientific discovery that changes the world. Scientists have discovered this kill gene, which is basically something in your DNA that kind of gives way and like lets people know that you have a tendency to kill people and that one day you're gonna be a killer. And so this perfect girl with her perfect life and her perfect family and her perfect boyfriend ends up having the kill gene, and her entire life is flipped completely upside down. I wish I could remember the ratings for these books. I think I gave one 5 stars and one 4 stars, and I think I got one 4 stars and one 3 stars. Basically, I really enjoyed The Uninvited. I just kind of thought it was a different course. Like, I think I was just expecting more of like a real dystopian feel, and it was just like the futuristic aspect, so my expectations were probably wrong for it, but I still really enjoyed it. Unleashed I didn't enjoy as much. I felt like the first like 100 to 200 pages, like nothing happened whatsoever. It did have its action points. It did have points where I was really excited and I really wanted to keep reading, but there was an unnecessary love triangle introduced that I just was not looking forward to, and nothing worked out the way I wanted it to. And I don't know if this is a trilogy or if it's just a duology, but I wasn't really satisfied with the ending of this, so I don't know if another book would satisfy that or if I just kind of lost my interest in the story. But still, The Uninvited was really good, and somebody might end up liking this duology more than I did, so I would definitely recommend giving it a chance if you really like the premise of it. Then I read Elusive by Emily Lloyd Jones. Oh my god, guys, I just want to talk about how good this book is all day long. I was going to film a review, but when I sat down and started to write out my thoughts for it, I was just like, I can't think of anything except that this book was freaking phenomenal. Basically, there is this disease that is just killing tons of people. One guy has come up with a cure, like a vaccination that makes people immune to this disease, but has some crazy side effects. The kinds of side effects are, I'm trying to list all 6 of the side effects, but I don't think I can remember all of them. There is telepathy, levitation. You can kind of like increase your senses, so like if you really needed to hear something, you could like turn your hearing up to like level 100 or something. You can just be generally really good at like computers and like statistics and just generally a genius. God, I can't remember the 5th one for the life of me. It was such a complex point and I just can't remember how to explain it well. And then there is the power of illusion, which our main character Sierra has. What Sierra can do is she pretty much transforms what everyone sees around her. So like in the first scene of the book, she's running from the cops because she's a thief, because these people who are immunes, as they call them, are kind of like outcasts in society, and the government wants to round all of them up, just like the Darkest Minds. But in the first scene, the cops are coming after her and she wakes up and she's like, crap, I'm in this hotel room, I don't know how to get out of here. And she cleans up the entire room so like it looks like nobody was ever in there, and she makes herself invisible so when they come in they see nothing and they leave. She can do that with the stuff around her, she can do that with herself. It's so freaking cool. But basically Sierra is kind of like a professional criminal. You know, she has this one person that gets her jobs and they take on this really crazy job where it gets to the point where it just takes off in so many different directions that I never expected. I cannot wait for the second book. I'm so excited. Obviously 5 out of 5 stars to this book. Please read it. Like, I know I promote so many books to you guys sometimes, but like, oh my god, you need to read this book. Somebody please pick it up and tell me you love it and talk to me about it because I'm so obsessed. Then I ended up finishing the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy with 50 Shades Darker and 50 Shades Freed by E.L. James. Y'all know how much I loved 50 Shades of Grey, and now I can easily say I love the entire trilogy as well. The reason I picked these up so quickly after finishing 50 Shades of Grey last month was A, I just really wanted to know what happened. I was just so excited to finish the series, and B, it was my TBR challenge for the month. Out of my jar, which I will be showing you guys later for my April challenge, I had to pick out a little piece of paper with a challenge on it, and the challenge was to read the last book I bought at that time, which was these 2 books that I almost dropped. I have a discussion on 50 Shades Darker as to why you should pick it up if you're afraid of continuing with the series or just starting the series altogether. So if you're interested, you should all go check that out. But I cannot get enough of this series. I need so much more. I am just captivated by this series. I wish I could tell you why. I wish I had some, strict reason to tell you this is why I love this book. But it's just all the reasons, all of them. And then wrapping up the rest of this month's wrap-up is the Selection series by Kiara Cass. This is the first 3 books in the series. I don't know how many there are, but I know that the Heir is coming out soon, and I was like, you know what? I should probably read the Selection soon. I was always really, really, really terrified of reading these books because I've heard so many things about her being a crappy protagonist. But personally, I didn't find any faults in her that much. Like, I get annoyed with characters as much as the next person, but it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, and I loved these books. I finished each of them in like a day, if you combine like half days of reading, you know what I mean? Like, I read it over the span of 2 days, but it really amounts to 1 day, you know what I'm saying. But I finished these books so quickly. They were such a quick and easy read. They really captivated me from the beginning, and I just could not put them down. I'm so upset that I don't have the Heir in my possession now because I just want to finish them. Out of these 3 books, I think the Selection is probably still my favorite, and then it would be the One, and the Elite is probably my least favorite, but I still gave all of them 5 stars, and I really, really enjoyed these books. I really don't even know how I ever thought that I would hate these books because they're just so me. They're so me. They're like everything that I love in reading in YA is in these books. Yeah, so America is kind of annoying sometimes. Like, she pisses me off as much as the next girl in a love triangle, let's be real. But I really can't get enough of these books, and if you're feeling like a little anxious starting it because of the things you've heard about it, I really recommend picking them up because they were so good. So that is it for my March book haul and wrap up. There is one more thing I have to do before I leave this video, and that is pick my TBR challenge for April. Let's get this thing open. It never really goes. It like snaps open at one point. Okay, now we're gonna pick one. I'm like, there's certain ones like I'm dreading getting to, but like, I don't know what's gonna happen this one. What is this one? This one's a tiny one. Read a hyped up book. What book am I gonna read? I could read the Lux series, which is definitely hyped up. I could read Red Queen. Is there anything else on my shelf that I know is like super hyped up? I don't think so, unless there's something in the... Ooh, I could read Mistborn. I don't think I'll read Mistborn yet. I think I need to start Mistborn in the summer because it's so long. So I'll probably either start Lux or Red Queen. Might read both. I could read any Rainbow Rowell book too. Oh, I need to read Paper Towns before the movie comes out, so I might read that. I just give you like 7 different suggestions as to what I might read for this challenge. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon for a new video. Bye!